All right, I'm gonna try to make this video not too long. It's Monday. I slept in my bed and I'm sore, but I'm feeling better now after that hunt. So I just wanted to put a little backstory of how this thing went down, and I got a video to show you guys. So we're up on this mountain glassing. It's early in the morning, probably 6:30. The light was really dim, and I'm glassing with Nick and Fernando, and I'm in the glasses looking everywhere on this big open ridge across the side of the mountain, and I glass across the draw where I was, and I spotted movement in the binoculars, and I can make out that it was a deer, and I go, there's a deer here, and I'm trying to tell these guys some landmarks how to find it. They had a hard time finding the deer, but they finally got on it, and I couldn't tell if it was a buck or a doe. The light was pretty, there was no sunrise yet, so the light was pretty dim. So finally the light's changing a little bit, and I can see he was feeding, and I can see his rack moving, and I go, oh, it's a buck. I go, I'm gonna shoot him. At this point, it's the only deer we've seen in 3 days, so I'm not gonna pass this thing. And then I start trying to range with I have a Razor 4000 GB, a range finder Vortex, and every time I click, that thing just blinks, and I can get a range, and I start to panic. And I think what had happened, the temperature was dropping around 30 degrees at night, and the batteries probably got depleted with the cold. And when the batteries are low, the thing just blinks. I couldn't get a range, and I go, I don't know how far it is. I can't shoot him. And first mistake I made, the guy said, it's a long hike. You don't need a bipod. Leave that shit behind, because you're not gonna use a bipod. Sagebrush everywhere. And this would have been the perfect spot to set up and shoot on a bipod. So the only thing I can do is run and grab my pack and throw it over a rock. And then Nick had a rangefinder in his binoculars, and he says, Frank, he's 408. And because of the same reason, we're in the mountains, no service on the phones or nothing, I had turned off my phone, and man, the damn the iPhone took like about a minute and a half to boot up and come on. And I checked my app, and it says dial 1.1 mils for a 408-yard shot. So I dialed that, and then I realized I'm too high. The pack is on top of the rock. In the back of the rifle, the stock is like 12 inches off the ground. And I go, I'm not steady, I can't shoot him. And these guys are talking, trying to help me. And I'm like, quiet, don't speak, because I know the deer can hear us, man. Those big ass ears are like antennas. I run to get another pack to try to get it under the back of the rifle and steady it for the shot. And when I get back, I can't find the deer, it's gone. And I'm panicking, where is it? And then they say, it's up and to the right. And he goes, this is almost to the skyline. By the time I saw the deer and I tried to turn the whole shooting setup again, it was gone. The deer just ran over the ridge line and broke my heart. But I told Fernando, let's chase him. I don't know what got into me thinking, let's chase him. And it was the craziest vertical steep drop off, and we went off of that. If you guys seen the movie Lone Survivor, think of that shit, just running for your life. If you stop, you'll fall. Just running over logs and shit. Went down to the creek, and then we climbed this whole sideway of a mountain sideways. We went probably half a mile, and then we had to climb another 500 yards vertical up to the top where the deer went up. Went up there, took probably an hour and a half. Nothing. We sat there glassing every rock, every shadow, every bush. After 40 minutes of that, we gave up, and we said, well, let's go back and we'll try in the afternoon again. But Fernando says, you know what, let's go through the trees. And I go, okay, good idea. Let's still hunt through the trees. If anything, he's better in the trees, or he's gone. So we start walking slowly down the ridge. And sure enough, we had gone like 300 yards, and Fernando froze, and he goes, he's right here. And I can't hear him because he's ahead of me, facing the other way. And I go, what? And he turned around and he says, he's right here. And I go, don't talk. And I drop my pack, grab the rifle, chamber around, and I walk up next to Fernando and I go, where? And he goes, right there below us. And when he said that, the deer heard us and he turned his head and I can see the ears turn, but he was in the dark shadows in the forest there. And I go, that's a doe. And he says, no, it's a buck. I saw the horns. So I take an offhand shot and I hold my breath. And when the wobble kind of slowed down, the crosshairs went right in his chest. I pulled the trigger and he jumped up and I can see his leg was broken. And he's just squirting blood out of his chest like a gosler. And he went down. We follow the blood trail, and Fernando was looking on the ground and I was looking ahead, and he only went like 40 yards and I grabbed Fernando and the deer was, this is surreal. This deer was standing or bedded like exactly the way like I shot it. In his bed, that's how he died. He got stuck between two trees and he was like, he was alive. His head was up, his eyes were open, and he was like looking at us. And Fernando says, he's dead. And I didn't care, man. I threw up the rifle and I put another round in his neck just to make sure. And that's how that whole thing went down. I killed him in his bed, but I'll show you guys the video so you guys can check this out.
He's going up the hill. Hang on, Frank. He's going up to the right. Yep.
He's moving, Frank.
Here. The button closest to you is the rangefinder. Hold on, Frank. He's going up to the right, just a little bit. Yep. He's making his way towards that right bush.
Which one is the rangefinder?
The one closest to you. This one, yeah. You press and hold it to turn it on, and then press it again to range it. Just below the right bush. See, that's the right bush right there. So come down and to the right. He's to the right of the right bush, Frank. Right below the right bush, that right one, but right below it on the right-hand side.
430.
You see those bushes at the top?
The one in the middle?
No, the right one. He's to the right of the right one.
Below?
Yes. Frank, come look right here. He's going to the top of the mountain now. He's right on the ridge.
What's the range? What's the range? To the top of the mountain. 475. Huh? 475.
Frank, just look. He's skylined. You can see him from here.
I see him.
He's gone, Frank.
Fuck. He's gone.
Yep.
And then
We couldn't find him. We said, well, we're going to come back in the afternoon. And we came down through the trees. Fernando said, we glassed all the rocks, right? And we said, if anything, he's better in these trees. And we're coming down. Fernando's a few feet in front of me, and he stops and he says, he's right there. He's right there. And I go, where? And I drop the pack, take the gun out of the pack, chamber around, and I had to shoot him offhand at what, 40, 45 yards?
45 yards, yeah.
Yeah, I punched him, and he crashed down the tree line in here, and we found him stuck between two trees, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
X12
sir.
is done. X12.
All right, guys. See you.
What are you doing, Fernando?
Just helping you attack this thing, Frank. A little buck that we found.
We managed to kill a little buck. Pick up the horns.
Yeah, fucking forky.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Fernando. I owe you, brother. You were with me every step of the way. Look at where we killed this animal. We went to the tops, dying to the tops of these canyons. The peaks. We spotted him at 4 a.m. Nah, what I'm saying, at 408 yards. And it was dark. And all the commotion trying to get a shot on him, couldn't do it. He got away. Went over the top of the ridge. Fernando and I made a dash. Took us an hour and a half to get to the tops. We're glassing, huh, Fernando?
Yeah, we're glassing.
And couldn't find him. Look at this shit. We just came down from that ridge. We're here. I'm packing out my deer. There's Fernando. Look at what we find on these trees. Look at this block, salt blocks. Somebody comes up here with horses or whatever, but this is another one. Look at how the deer have been licking on it. This is bullshit. This is basically baiting the deer. And I bet you they set up here somewhere and wait for the deer to come. These animals are already accustomed to this. Those are heavy ass blocks. Oh, fuck yeah, that thing weighs 20 pounds, easy. So that's not easy to bring up here. We're 7 miles, almost. What's the elevation here? 9,500 feet. 9,500 feet.